just to reiterate, good morning, June the 17th, year 2017, at 12:16 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to ask you guys to give me just a minute. I need to grab something out the back. I'll be with you shortly. Meanwhile, enjoy the music. Be back very shortly. I'm back. Okay, now, we got one question that was sent across the wire, and it was kind of a surprise because I thought it was going to be the winner of the tarot reading contest for Sunday, and it wasn't. I thought they wanted to get together and have a meeting, but they didn't. So our friend out in Cyberland, Michelle, writes, how can I personally communicate with the spirits? Well, let me start this off by saying something very direct and that needs to be said, and that is very carefully. Here's what I mean. There's quite a few beings out there. Some of them are, and I just realized I forgot to start the recording. That's okay. Let me just do this here. For that matter, let me don't know if I should broadcast or not. Well, first off, I'll start the recording. And in a few seconds, I'll start the broadcast. And normally, I wouldn't be here at this time. Sorry, a little distracted. But because I got someone who sent in, hey, start the broadcast. Now we're live. Okay. Hello, folks. This has been an interesting start to this situation. Normally, I'm not here going into Friday morning or going into Saturday morning. Sunday through Thursday are my normal hours. But I decided that because someone had sent me a question, I'd just go ahead and answer it and, get that done. The weird thing about it is that they sent their mail, or at least I got it at 9:36, and I got it on the computer at 10-something. It's like, well, this is a little odd, because I should have seen that notification right off the bat. I've been on the computer back and forth a good hour before it arrived. And I thought, that's odd. In any event, we have one of our patrons out there by the name of Michelle, and her question turned out to be, read this directly so I have it right. How can I personally communicate with the spirits? And my first answer to this, it's a multi-part answer, is very, very, very carefully. And here's why. There are things out there that may present themselves as good and friendly, and they're not. And you need to be very wary of who and what you're talking to. Now, personally, I think the best way to communicate with the spirits, if this is what you're into, let me lay out the process here. I would first off make sure that whenever you're doing this, it's a quiet time. You don't need static. You don't need background noise. You don't need distraction. Secondly, I would earnestly suggest that you communicate with whatever your idea of God is, whatever your idea of the angels would be, and very directly and plainly request that they protect you and watch over and guide you. Okay, that's the second thing. Thirdly, and I was not able to acquire a dialogue with this individual as of yet regarding why they wanted to communicate with the spirits. And by the way, I don't think that communication with the spirits is anything you should take lightly. Because like I said, there's nice beings out there, and there's beings that we don't want to discuss. Okay? You need to be careful. In any event, once you've gotten things quiet, requested protection, figured out who it is you want to talk to, and talk to them. And here's what I've done, and it worked great. I will say that I have not taken their advice beyond suggestion. In other words, I just haven't done it yet. But I did write it down as rapidly as I got the information. It's like, okay, so I have that. So I'm not playing around trying to think, what was that information I got? And what I sat down and did was became very still and very quiet. And I put forth my question. And then I waited, which, by the way, is the third thing you need to do. Not too long. Sometimes you don't get an answer. And if you don't get an answer, there could be a good reason. Like, it's not something you should do, or it's not something you need to know how to do. So just bear that in mind. That's possible. So let's recap. You get quiet. You invoke guidance, protection, love, and light from the beings that you hold dear as the powers that be. You ask your question. So there's your third step. And fourth step is you just sit there and wait and listen. And this is very important. This is key, because if you, from the get-go, as a foundation for this activity, you are of a jumbled mind and static surroundings, you're not going to get a real clear, clean answer. And that's what you want. So that's how I do it. Now, this could be very easily something to use as a tool of meditation on top. And here's what I mean. As a practice to gain the benefits of meditation, really to gain the benefits of understanding and listening to your intuition, you have to practice. You can't do it one day and not the next, and then do it for 3 days and not for a week, and so on. You practice. And over time, what you're doing is you're conditioning yourself to be able to connect, and then being able to listen and gather the actual answers that you're looking for. And by that I mean the actual answers that will be applicable to you. This is a point of caution. Sometimes we want things so badly that we will imagine things, we will make things up in our mind that didn't really happen. And that's another key point. With practice, you're going to have some situations where it flat hits. You're on the money. And you're going to have some situations that you're just left scratching your head thinking, couldn't possibly be the case. So, you practice. I would go so far as to have a journal. It's like, so call today day one, and we ask the question, how do I communicate with the spirits? And what you just got from me is what I just got from putting into practice what I described to you to do in order to get to that point. So you kind of see me in an on-the-job training situation online. I would say that's pretty much the way to do it. Again, be careful. Listen, really listen to what you're getting. Oh, one last thing on this whole ball of wax. Think about your answer. You know, on rare occasion, you're going to get an answer which makes absolutely positively no sense. And here's what I mean. Probably 20 some odd years ago, someone very near and dear to me was having what you typically call a rough patch. And I was unable to do anything to assist them, which left me feeling quite powerless and sucky. It's like, this is not how I usually roll. I can usually assist people with things. So I reached out to someone who I know knows more than me, who is more sage and wiser than I am. And I explained the situation to them, and I waited for an answer. This is where it got interesting. I think I had expectations, and they were very much colored and flavored by my own, how I tend to handle things. Okay? What this friend of ours said to me took me aback. What she said to me was, well, I'm paraphrasing here, your friend's in a funk. see if you can get them cleaned up, and take them for a walk. A walk? What do you mean a walk? They don't need a walk. They're trying to get some stuff sorted out. How is walking going to help? But I had to bite my tongue. I said, okay, all right. I asked this friend who I trust for an answer. This is the answer they gave me. Okay, fine. I talked my friend into getting cleaned up and set up, and we went for a walk. And the first 10-15 minutes, there was really nothing said. And I just said, okay, it's all right. Past that point, they began to gush with ideas on how to handle the situation they were facing. And I listened. It was kind of difficult for me not to, jump in there and give my 2 bits. Like, listen. We got done walking, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes later. They were fine. So we get back home. I call my friend. I say, okay, thank you very much. I explained to them the difficulty I had with following their advice. And if I remember clearly, her response was something to the effect of, so I helped the both of you, right? She wasn't lauding it over me. She's not like that. She wasn't like that. But I said, yeah, you did. I said, okay, you keep me posted. That friend of ours has since gone to heaven to be with the Great Spirit. She's dearly missed. That's you have people in your life for a reason, for a season. Try not to miss any opportunities. Be clear in your intentions. Be clear in your desires and wants. Walk in the light. Do your best to do your best. Well, Michelle and my listening audience, I hope that that helps. I hope that that will assist you with what it is you're planning to do or you want to do. It is currently 12:34 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, June the 17th, year 2017. I guess this is about the same amount of time I wanted to spend on a 3-card reading. What I offer at my website is, which is www.xpr3.com, 45-minute tarot reading session. And I definitely wind up pulling out more than 3 cards, but this is what Michelle asked for, and this is what she got. So I'm gonna call it a night. I hope you've enjoyed this. I wish you all wellness and peace. This has been Scott. Namaste. It's funny. Okay. Hmm.